Welcome back to Titan Academy. In this video, we will discuss chart data sources and the various options in Titan Web. We will discuss using as a source an object, a report, a custom source, or Apex. Let's take a look. I've gone ahead and set up 4 different charts in my sample project using the various source types. Let's take a look at the object source. Here I have a pie chart on my layout. So if I click on the gear and go to Edit Mapping, this is where we set up the source. Here I chose Object. And this is a fairly simple concept. This is simply a query of an object in Salesforce. Here I've chosen the opportunity. You can return up to 2,000 records. So if you select Object as your source, add any conditions or filters. Here I did not add any, so we are bringing back all opportunities. And then in mapping, you will select the various mapping options. In a pie chart, you select your X slice and your Y axis. Here I chose, for the X axis, the slice, the opportunity stage. I set it to be in ascending order. And on the Y axis, I selected a count of opportunity ID. You can also select sum, ignore, or average for times when that is applicable. And it did not indicate any order. The formatting option allows you to specify how the data returned is formatted. You can select string, number, date, or time, and then pick a specific format. In this case, that doesn't apply, but do know that that is an option. So let's go ahead and preview this and see how it looks. And you see in my top report, opportunities by stage, the object source. I have the number of opportunities summarized in the center of the graph, and the pie slices are the various stages: close loss, close won, needs analysis, etc. Now let's take a look at using a report as a source. Here I've got a line graph showing the opportunities by stage. The same information as we returned in the pie chart. Let's take a look at using the report as a source. If I go back into my edit mapping, and here where we select the source, I've chosen report. And from here, you check your source in Salesforce. With reports, the limitation on the number of objects, number of records that you can return is higher. It is limited to the same limitations as a Salesforce report. One thing to note is that before selecting a report from Salesforce, it must be in your recently viewed list. So you will want to log into Salesforce as the integration user, find the report that you want to use. This one is called Opportunities for Titan Report. Click on it and view it, and then make sure that it shows up in your recently viewed items, because that is what we can return for the options. There are all kinds of other reports in this org, as you can see, but the only ones available to me are the ones that are in my recently viewed list.
You don't need to set conditions when using a report as a source because the filter conditions are already set on the report in Salesforce, thereby making this step a bit easier. You could add conditions if you want, but that's not necessary here. Next, let's look at the mapping. Same as for the pie chart report that we did. I've selected for the x-axis the stage in ascending order, for the y-axis the count of opportunity name in no order. Let's go ahead and see how this looks. And here we go. Opportunities by stage, report source. One thing to note when making your report to use as a source, you must use a simple report. In other words, a line report like this one with no summary rows. This is what is eligible for use as a source.
Now let's take a look at using a custom source. Here, I have a line chart where we are mapping opportunity amount by close month with a custom source. In Edit Mapping, I will go to Select Source, and we select Custom as the source. Again, you will see a list of available Salesforce objects, and I've chosen Opportunity. You will want to use a custom source when you wish to display summary data of a large number of records, but you wish to do so without having to create a report in Salesforce. This way you can avoid having to create reports in Salesforce just for use as sources. You can create the custom right here. The records that are returned, please note, when using a custom source are returned as summaries and not as line item type details. Again, in conditions, add whatever conditions you want. I'll leave these blank. And then in your mapping, you will have summary options such as this. Here I've chosen to aggregate the sum of opportunity amount grouped by close date. The difference between the count and the sum, fairly simple. Count is a count of records. Sum is an aggregate sum of a field. I'll go ahead and save this. We'll then refresh our preview page to get the updated data. And here we see in our custom source report a summary of the amount of opportunities with the close date in each month. Finally, you can use an Apex class as a source of data for a chart or report. You would want to do this in scenarios that require a query that is so complex that it's not supported by Titan's native charts or Salesforce native reports. I'll go ahead and show you how this is set up, even though the query that we run is relatively simple. In Apex, you can get very complex and bring back complex lists of records, and that is how you would do that here. So I'll go into my edit mapping. The source I've chosen as your Apex, and then for the source in Salesforce, you want to put the name of the Apex class. I'll bring back up to 2,000 records. Let's take a look at this Apex class that I have in Salesforce. It is called Titan Apex Source Demo. I'll come ahead into my Salesforce org, go to the developer console, and we have that class open here. Again, this is a simple one where we return a list of opportunities that are associated with an account ID that's passed in. So we have the class accepting a string account ID and then querying Salesforce for opportunities that are related to that account. This is, again, is a simple query, but you can get very complex. You must return the items in a list. The class must be global without sharing, and it is called over REST. I'll go ahead and go into the Salesforce workbench, and we'll take a look at this and what's going on behind the scenes. So if we come into the workbench and go to the REST Explorer, I want to go to Post, Apex REST, and the name of my class, and then the request body, I'm going to put in the JSON to pass in an account ID parameter. So that will be open curly bracket. We'll zoom in a little bit on that. Account ID in quotes, then a colon, then an open quote, and we want to get a sample account record that we know has opportunities. I'll grab this ID here, close the quote, close the curly brace, and when we execute this, we should see some results. So here are all of the opportunities that are associated with that account. If you click on Show Raw Response, this will show the JSON response that is returned by Salesforce. And here we see in JSON format, all 16 or so of these records, we are returning every field on the opportunity, and you see all the values here. This is what we will use to map from the JSON response into our chart. And this is information that we will need for mapping fields into our chart in Titan Web Builder. So let's go back into the builder. Again, here we have the name of our class. In the parameter section, we want to put in any parameters to pass in to the Apex class. In this case, remember, we were putting in an account ID, and I've put in, let's just go ahead and put in that same record ID. We'll pass that value in a static. The class will run, and then it will turn opportunities associated with that class. Now in the mapping, we want to put as our source the JSON name that is returned for the fields that we want to use on that axis, on the x-axis or the y-axis. So on the x-axis, I've chosen stage name, on the y-axis, sum of amount. And these values that you enter here is freeform typing, no point and click. They must match exactly the way the field is labeled in the JSON response. So here, let's find stage name. There's an example on the first record. And amount, you can see right here. We can map by any of these other fields, but the text that we enter into right here, into the source, must match exactly how the field is named in the JSON response. I have set the stage name to run as ascending. Let's apply, let's save that. I'll go ahead and refresh my preview. And here we can see account opportunities for the account in question, the 3 stages, and the amounts. And that is how it's done.